Hello students, welcome to the class. Now this video is about the writing component of Unit 1 in Semester 2, and this is about note-taking. Now let's try to understand the difference between note-taking and note-making. Now note-taking is a method of writing down briefly and clearly and rapidly the crucial items of a lecture being delivered or a paper reading or even a meeting. So the most important skill that we use during note taking is our listening skills. And the most important points to remember is what to write and how to write. Whereas note making is a study skill where we write down relevant key points of a written material in order to use them at a later date. And the most important skill that we use here is reading. And the 2 points that we need to remember are what are the key points and how can we organize this information. Why should we take notes? Studies show that a good part of what we have learned is easily forgotten by us within 24 hours. And unless you have a great memory, you cannot remember what you have learned for a longer period of time. So note-taking is a very essential skill for a university scholar or a simple college student. So why should we take notes? Because it helps us. It helps us to understand what we are learning. It even clarifies our thinking about a particular subject or a concept. It helps us to organize our ideas and make connections with what has been taught before and after. It will help us to review and revise in a better way before examinations. What are the basic important things that we need to remember during note taking? The first thing we need to remember is recording the information properly. And during the lecture, we need to write all the meaningful information understandably or legibly. And the second thing is we need to reduce. Not everything that we have written is useful, but we need to write a summary of the ideas and facts using keywords as keywords. Then, one good thing is to recite all the information in our own words without looking at our notes or text. This helps us in remembering the key points. And we can also reflect or raise questions and record our own opinions or ideas. And finally, one more thing to remember is reviewing what we have written. There are many good methods of note taking, and I have put here some of the trusted methods of note taking worldwide. One is the outlining method. Now, and then the charting method or the mapping method and even the cornell method of note taking. Now let's look at the first method, which is the outlining note taking method. Now this is a common method which is very widely used by students all over the world. What we do in an outlining method is we understand the main topics, and then the most important subtopics under that are placed, and then we write the key points under each subtopic. Now this method has many positives, like we are able to highlight the key points of the lecture in a logical way. And it is very easy for students to allow to focus, and it also reduces the reviewing or editing time, and it gives a proper and clean structure to our notes. But maybe this sort of a method may not be useful for subjects like mathematics or chemistry that comprise of formulas or charts. Maybe it doesn't work well if the attended lecture doesn't follow a certain structure. For example, and there are some things that we need to remember during outlining method. We need to make sure that all our notes are well categorized and organized under the topics and the subtopics. We can use indentation to keep things clear, or we can also develop our own system and stick to that. The second method is the charting note-taking method, or it is also called as the boxing note-taking method. In this, the notes that are related to each other are grouped together in a box or a chart. So we dedicate a box, or we assign a box for each section of notes, and this cuts down the time needed for reading or reviewing at a later time. So there are many positives in this. We can focus on one box at a time while reading. It also helps us to memorize the relation between notes in a visual way. But it may not be suitable for every lecture type, or it may not work well if no overall topics can be assigned to a particular group of notes. Another good method of note taking is the mapping note taking method. Now, when the lecture content is huge, the mapping method works best. It helps organize our notes by dividing them into branches, and which will enable us to establish relationships between the topics. We can start writing with the main topic at the top of the map, and we can keep dividing it into subtopics on the left or the right as we go down. Now, this is visually appealing, and it can be used for noting down detailed information but in a very concise form. It can also give us the scope to edit the notes easily. Here is an example of the mind mapping format of a topic like body language. Now, that's the main topic, and it is divided into subtopics, and the key points in each subtopic are branched again. One of the best methods of note-taking is the cornell note-taking method. This is a unique note-taking method, and it finds its applications in a variety of situations. What differentiates this from the other note-taking methods is the page layout. The page is divided into 3 or 4 sections, starting from one row at the top for title and date, and one at the bottom for summarizing. And the 70% of the mid part is given for the note taking during the class, and 30% at the left side is used to record keywords or the questions. Now, this is ideal for all type of lectures or even meetings. It's a quicker way to take and then review and even organize our notes. It helps us to extract the main ideas from a lecture. The only problem with this type of note-taking method is that we need to prepare the pages before the lecture. Right. Maybe whatever method we may use for note-taking, but there are some things that we always need to remember during taking notes in a class. For large lectures, we need to sit as close to the front as possible to be able to understand and listen properly to the teacher. We need to listen for cues to important points. For example, a teacher may be repeating some phrases or words which denote the importance, and there can be a change in tone of voice when he is shifting from one topic to another. These are some little cues that we need to listen for. We can use abbreviations, symbols for notes. We don't need to write everything down during note taking. Always paraphrase. Right. So in this video, we looked at the different aspects of note taking, its importance, and what we need to do during note taking, and the good methods that we can adopt. We'll come to note making in a later video. Thank you for watching. You can post your queries on the blogspot or the mail ID, or you can WhatsApp us in the number given. Thank you. Have a good day.